welcome to the 2021 edition of the Speak and Solve Initiative SASI debate. Now, 10 universities from across Zimbabwe will debate it out, but ultimately we will only have one debate champion. My name is Candice and I am your debate master for this year. Now, this debate competition is one that involves universities, students, and is of course SAWAT's mandate. But to explain why they came up with this, please help me introduce Vimbai Mlambo, who is the programs manager at SAWAT, to just give us a bit more background so we understand what we're watching today. Vimbai, please come on.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we welcome you to the SAWAT studios, where we are hosting the 2021 Speak and Solve Initiative debate competitions. We are so excited about this particular competition because it is the first competition to be hosted in the SAWAT brand new studios. So all students here today should be very excited because this is the inaugural debate competition to open up the studio as a competition. SAWAT, with support from the Embassy of Sweden in Zimbabwe, the National AIDS Council, UNFPA, SAI, and ECONET, are proud to bring you this competition today. The partnership brings together 10 state universities across Zimbabwe, and the competition definitely is aimed to see more students take part in the competitions of debating critical issues affecting the students across the country. This year, we host the competition under the theme, Debating with Hope for a Better and Healthier Future for All. Why? It's because of the current environment that we're faced with today. We all know that since 2020, we have faced vast challenges with regards to COVID-19. This has not only presented difficult situations for young people and the students, but it has also brought several dynamics in our well-being, the way that we are living, as well as what is expected in terms of our education. There is definitely quite a lot to debate about. There is quite a lot to talk about. There is also quite a lot that we need to use in order to make informed and positive choices about our health. So we are very excited that this year's debate is being hosted amidst a myriad of challenges that young people are facing in our country today. We are excited about the topics that are coming up. We're also excited about the different viewpoints that the young people are going to be debating today. We are hopeful that we will continue to have this platform in more years to come in order to ensure that the young people are well engaged and they become even more informed with regards to their sexual and reproductive health and rights in Zimbabwe. With that, once again, I welcome everyone, including our partners and key players who have decided to partner SAWAT in this particular initiative. Thank you so much, Candice.
Thank you, Vimbai. We look forward to a very spirited debate. And of course, remember that you're in the comments section. The hashtags to use for today are, of course, hashtag SASI Debate 2021 and hashtag SASI for Hope.
Good day, viewers, listeners, and participants of the 2021 National Universities Debate Competition. The National AIDS Council is an organization established through an Act of Parliament of 1999 to coordinate and facilitate the national multi-sectoral response to HIV and AIDS. We envision a Zimbabwe free from HIV infections, stigma, and AIDS-related deaths by 2030. And our mission is to lead and coordinate the national strategy in response to HIV and AIDS in Zimbabwe. As the National AIDS Council, we are committed to increasing access to and respect for sexual reproductive health and rights, especially for the young people in Zimbabwe. Our mandate allows us to work with and through many organizations to address the needs of the different populations that make up our nation. SAWAT is one such organization that we have worked with for the past 2 decades in programs that seek to promote the sexual reproductive health of students and young people across the country. The Speak and Solve Initiative, SASI, debate is one such intervention that we've partnered with SAWAT mainly to put to test the effectiveness of awareness interventions that we coordinate through SAWAT, which include comprehensive sexuality education, trainings for peer educators, the Condomize campaign, and STI campaigns. The quality and depth of debates will assist us in identifying key gaps in SRA-HRA programming for students and young people, thus helping us craft better and more efficient programs. This year's debate competition is coming at a time when the nation is grappling with COVID-19 pandemic and its devastating effects. Through these debates, the National AIDS Council is looking forward to hearing from students' experiences on COVID-19 and possible solutions to mitigating its effects so far. We believe that students in tertiary institutions are strategically positioned to share with the nation the best ideas and strategies for recovery. To all our 2021 debaters, allow me to say that this is your opportunity to stand out and speak out your mind on young people's development. The whole world is listening and watching you. It's your opportunity to shape the world that we desire, a world that is healthy for all. You are our hope and for a better and brighter future. To all our viewers, listeners, and participants, allow me to say that this is a competition with a difference. Not only is it entertaining and exciting, it is also educative. Let us listen carefully to the arguments coming from our young generation and utilize in our decision making on key developmental issues affecting young people. Thank you all for tuning into this year's Speak and Solve initiative debate, where 10 universities are showcasing their understanding and opinions on different issues concerning young people's development. The National AIDS Council wishes you all the best. Enjoy the broadcast. I thank you.
My name is Jonathan Mchuchu. I'm the call center supervisor here at SAWAT. The call center opened its doors to the public in July 2020. From there, we were making calls to various colleges where we've got databases of our students. Because we had not initiated the facility whereby students can call in free of charge. Then during that period, it was a period of awareness where we wanted all the students across the country to know that there is now a call center. We actually got about 200 cases from the calls that we were making during that period, and we dealt with them. Then from January 2021, we then upgraded the call center, and we were receiving calls from the public free of the public were able to call us free of charge. So we're now able to receive those calls, and we witnessed an upsurge of calls because we were advertising the calls through some radio stations. And through that way, each time when we had a radio station, we would notice there was a surge in terms of call volume. Out of the calls that we were receiving, which are approximately 7,000 to date, we have generated about 400 cases, and we've dealt with these cases accordingly. Some of the cases required just counseling over the phone, and we proceeded like that. Some cases required us to make referrals to various stakeholders such as the VFU of the police and the Department of Social Services, which we actually did. We also feed into the National Case Management System. So each case that we receive, we record and we open files for those cases. The number 577 is the short digit for our call center, and we encourage each and every household to make sure that they've got this number, as it is helpful to all community members, starting from the youth and even to the adults, because adults are the custodian of children in the homes and youth in the homes. So by having this number, they are also able to call on behalf of those children and on behalf of the youths. Our call center is very unique because it deals with issues that are not easily dealt with because of taboos in our nation or in our societies. So, issues to do with sexual and reproductive health, these are issues that are not easily dealt with. And in our call center, we've received cases of that nature, and we've been able to provide counseling and support to the individuals that we're calling. At times you find that it is very difficult for a child to speak about their STI status, should they have found themselves contracting that disease. But through the call center, we're able to address those issues and make the accurate referrals that they need for their treatment and support. We've also received a lot of cases relating to the lockdown during this lockdown period where the government has put measures on lockdown due to the COVID-19 situation, and we've managed to also give information to the public relating to centers for vaccine. We've also given information relating to the need for vaccination. In fact, I mean, actually say we've been carrying out awareness to the public on the need for vaccination. We've received other issues because in a call center you find yourself receiving issues that don't only pertain to your program area, but you also receive all issues pertaining to the welfare of people in the society. And there's a call center, we've got a referral directory that we keep, so that we are able to deal with almost all issues that are brought before us in the call center. What I would like to encourage the youth is that they should always call the call center for any issues that affect their lives, be it their health conditions, issues to do with career guidance, issues to do with access to vital services, issues to do with their livelihoods. We all receive those calls and we also give guidance whenever there is that need. So the call center is a one-stop shop for all the children and youths across the country.
To get the ball rolling, I will call up Respect and Google to help me pick. As you can see, I have 2 bags. In these 2 bags contain the names of the universities, and the 2 that will be picked will go up against each other. Respect, Google, please join me. Come closer, I don't bite much. All right, so Respect, let's start with you. Midland State University is the first team that will be stepping on our podiums today. Who are they going up against?
This is going to be interesting.
This is going to be very interesting.
Bindura University of Science Education.
Bindura University of Science Education. So we have our first 2 teams, which are Midland State University going up against Bindura University of Science Education. Those are the first ones to battle it out on our podiums today. Who's next?
National University of Science and Technology.
All right, that's team number 2. Who are they going up against?
Africa University.
Africa University, that is our second pair for the day. Remember, we did say that they will be eliminating each other 1 team at a time. So far we have 2 pairs.
Great Zimbabwe University.
Great Zimbabwe University, who is their rival today? Manicaland State University. That is pair number 3. So far, we know that Bindura University of Science Education will be up against the Midland State University. Our second pair for the day will be the National University of Science and Technology up against Africa University. And the third one will be the Great Zimbabwe University up against Manicaland State University. Who is next?
Gwanda State University.
Gwanda State University up against... Don't rip the paper.
I don't know. Chinoy University of Technology.
Chinoy University of Technology. And our final pairing for the morning.
The last team from the northern region, Lupane State University.
Lupane State University.
University of Zimbabwe.
University of Zimbabwe. These are our 5 pairs today for the first round. We start off with the Bindura University of Science Education up against the Midland State University. Then we go on to the University of Science and Technology up against Africa University. Then the Great Zimbabwe University will go up against Manicaland State University. Our 4th round will be Gwanda State University up against the Chinoy University of Technology, and finally Lupane State University up against the University of Zimbabwe. We have our 5 pairs ready to battle. Thank you so much, Respect. Thank you, Gugu. By now, I'm sure you know who your favorites are, so just start commenting. Who are you supporting in this race to the ultimate debate champion? Now, Lupane were very exciting last year, and so were Gwanda. I hope that they bring the heat again this year. Who are you backing? Do you remember what happened last year? Do you remember how close it was? Let us know what you are anticipating throughout today's production.
It's not only about the bragging rights, it's about representation, prowess, flexibility, and adequate information for a solution-focused initiative. We crowned a champion in the 3rd edition of the Speak and Solve initiative, SASI. It was a tough challenge, but an ultimate winner emerged. Taking the trophy, which has been in the custody of the Harare Institute of Technology, the Midland State University held the cup for the first time, marking themselves as the team to beat in the 4th edition of the SASI debate. They fought a good fight. Will they follow in the footsteps of their predecessors and be the winners this year? Do they have what it takes to take it home yet again?
The 4th edition of the SASI debate competition is running under the theme Debate with Hope for a Better and a Healthier Future for All. Now, if you're watching from home, tell us in the comment section, what does this theme represent for you as an individual? Of course, remember the hashtags to use are hashtag SASI for Hope and hashtag SASI Debate 2021. We want to hear from you. We want your involvement. Also, let us know which university you are rooting for to win this. Now, since the inception of the SASI debate competition in 2018, Say What has been enjoying a hybrid of debating styles, borrowing elements from various styles to suit the needs of Say What. Now, Say What has also learned a number of lessons on what works and what doesn't work in the Say What debating context, where the number of participating teams may be determined by the level of support by running projects. The 4th edition of the SASI debate competition marks the maturity stage of the Say What SASI debating style. The name of the debating style is adopted from the name of the debate competition, SASI Debate, which stands for Speak and Solve Initiative. The SASI style borrows elements from Karl Popper style, British parliamentary style, and the world view debating style. While the SASI debate style is not perfect, its strength is in its flexibility and in its ability to capitalize on the strengths of the popularity and styles. The SASI debate style, which allows 2 debaters per university, of course 1 male, 1 female, as you will see, to debate over a period of 25 minutes. A total of 21 debate sessions will be carried out with 21 debate motions. This means that in total, the fourth edition of the SASI debate competition will take place over a total duration of 525 minutes, or basically 8 hours and 75 minutes. Now, my contestants are with me on stage, and of course we have our adjudicators ready to judge the process and listen to how eloquent they are, how their ideas, she's looking at me and she's worried already, how the ideas flow and how well they cross-examine their opponents. Those are just some of the elements that will be determined today. Now, our debaters, are you paying attention to the modalities of how we're going to function today? Yes. All right. So the first opening speech will be from the affirmative side of our motion. The affirmative will have 4 minutes to give us their opening speech. After those 4 minutes, the opposers will cross-examine the affirmative team, and that is going to happen within a space of 1 minute 30 seconds. Once this has been concluded, the opposers will have their opening speech, and they will also get 4 minutes on the clock. Once the opposers are done, the affirmative will cross-examine their motion as well. Now, after this has been done, our opposers will rebut, and they get 4 minutes. Also, the affirmative will then get their turn to rebut. That's another 4 minutes on our clock. Opposing closing remarks will then round off for the opposers, that is 3 minutes, and the affirmative closing remarks will also take another 3 minutes. Are we clear on how this is going to work? Yeah. All right. What it basically means is after your 4 minutes, when I say stop, you close your mouth. Whether you are mid-sentence or beginning a sentence, you stop. All right? Are we clear on that? Yes. All right. Now, this is a very interesting round. We have the Midland State University going up against the Bindura University of Science Education. Now, it's very interesting to note that Midland State University are the current trophy holders. How are you feeling?
Very excited. And nervous too.
Do you think you're going to take it home for your university for the second time?
Sure.
You sure? Yeah. Do you think you have them?
We're going to try.
All right, so let's get this started. Our first motion for today is the House regrets the culture of casual sex. The House regrets the culture of casual sex. That is our first motion for today. And of course, pro-position is the Midland State University, which means Bindura University of Science and Science Education, you are opposing this motion. All right, are we ready to go? Ready. Our clock for Midland State University begins now.
Panel, young people have normalized having sex with strangers. They have normalized picking each other in Tinder, Grindr, or whatever site, and forgetting, and having sex, then forgetting about each other the next day. We think that this harms society, one, in functionality, and also this harms society in terms of like closing taps of new infections of HIV and AIDS, which I'm gonna do in my case, right? What you ought to understand, speaker, within that each and every culture that exists in society becomes one, a normal thing, that if you do not do it, you're not the coolest young person. If you do not do it, you do not fit in. Within that, it also creates ripple effects in terms of the functionality of society and also these diseases, right? At what point do we generally stand as society and say that, you know what, we regret this particular thing? Within that, we regret, one, if it poses a lot of harms to society, and I've told you in terms of diseases, and also if it also propagates or somehow takes away one, sustainability of a society, and also how society generally functions. 3 things that you're particularly going to get from outside of the house, right? You're going to get why we think that this is very problematic in terms of capping new infections, which is one of the goals that humanity has in terms of ending HIV and AIDS. We're going to tell you why young people are a key population in fighting HIV and AIDS, right? Secondly, we're going to tell you how it devalues investment into relationships and also into functional, sustainable relationships that society is born out of, right? Thirdly, that what you're particularly going to get from Samantha is the dangers of this thing as a normative, right? Within that particularly, HIV has been on the rise. What you have to note that is that 33,000 new people were infected by HIV and AIDS within the ages of 15 to 45. Within that, if we want to close these things, those new types of diseases, we close them using the particularly young people that are key population. The issue or the rise of culture of sex will continue those things to grow, right?
All right. Bindura University of Science Education, are you ready? Let's go.
Yes, we are ready. Okay, my first question will be, you said young people only, what about the others?
Clarity. Go ahead. What are you saying?
Okay, you only spoke about the young people. What about the others?
As I've said, we think that the culture is more prominent in young people, and we think that young people are a key population also in fighting HIV and AIDS. That's why we create it mostly in the target population.
Your clock is still running, Bindura.
Okay. My second question, are there not campaigns to educate people, to educate young people?
Campaigns are really there to educate young people, but do realize how spontaneous casual sex is, right? People pick each other at bars, people are already drunk, or some even just don't even have the time to negotiate for safe sex, they're just doing it for the fun of it. That's why we think that we ought to regret, because it has caused harms in society.
Thank you. Then my last question will be, the government and the other different organizations, they've been doing what we are calling campaigning. Also, they've been doing they've been going to schools, educating people on radios, and doing some educating information on the social media.
Speaker, the problems that come with casual sex are problems that are against the goals of this education that the government is doing. Therefore, we regret casual sex.
Time up.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bindura University of Science Education.
Okay, so...
Not yet. Not yet.
Sorry.
Relax. Relax. Breathe. Your clock will begin shortly. Are you ready? Your clock begins now.
Okay, so this house does not regret the culture of casual sex, in the sense that morality is dependent on the person in question. Not all of us are morally against casual sex. Also, according to England and Ronan in their ResearchGate article on hookups and casual sex, they also indicated that casual sex has been linked to lowering levels of depression, of anxiety, as there are no insecurities in relationships. For example, in formal relationships, where people are dating with the intention of marriage, there are trust issues, there are financial issues, there are also communication issues. But when it comes to casual sex, there is none of that. It's just sex, fun, and you go. And also, casual sex also contributes to empowerment goals. It also enables women to be able to express themselves freely and also to explore their sexuality. And also, it's beneficial for those who want to explore LGBTQ. And also, casual sex is prominent in redressing cultural inequalities and also tarnishing the culture of male patriarchy. It puts women on the same level as men, as people who are sexual beings, as people who are not to be judged for their choices. It also gives confidence to explore the right to choice. And also, you mentioned that there's the issue of infections. Infections are not relevant because campaigns are there and people are cognizant of the consequences of casual sex. And also when it comes to reckless behavior that's under the influence, not all people can be accountable, cannot be criticized for one person's failure to actually make wise decisions. Therefore, the problem is not casual sex. The problem is people who delve into casual sex without reconsidering the consequences and reconsidering how they're doing casual sex and who they're doing it with. And also, it's healthy for people and healthy for their self-esteem, as it allows someone to explore their options. You explore which partner actually does it better for you, which partner does it better, like on a physical aspect. Because as much as we might deny this, current social trends actually show that relationships these days are judged by the yardstick of sex. So it's important that someone explores how they fit in with their partner, how their bodies actually react to each other. And also someone might actually argue that it's not natural, but it is natural. There is no scientific evidence that humans are supposed to mate for life. They are like other animals. They're actually free to mate with whoever they want, whatever time they want, and how many times they want. And also, there is the prevalent belief that casual sex promotes carelessness, like an indifference. It actually depreciates the value of relationships and marriages. But then even people who are in marriages who have been faithful to one partner fall victim to the other partner's irresponsibility. I think casual sex is not the issue. It's rather people who should be able to define their relationships. If they're casual sex relationships, if they are formal courtships, etc., etc. This House will still stand by the motion that casual sex is good, as it has health benefits. It also has significant impact on redressing inequalities in society.
All right, you're giving me 4 seconds, so be it. Thank you. Team Pro, are you ready for your cross-examination? The clock starts now.
Okay, so since people are inconsiderate and very not responsible, right, in these casual sex relationships, right, is that not a point where we need to regret? Since these people are very inconsiderate, they are not responsible, is that not a warrant for regret?
It's not a warrant for regret, because if we perpetuate the belief that casual sex is wrong, we are depriving people of the chance to actually gather self-discipline and actually to make conscious choices. So the moment we allow them to have casual sex, or we encourage them to have informed casual sex, we are actually contributing to society by raising conscious people, conscious, strong-willed people who make their decisions.
Secondly, if the marriage to a good relationship is the sex that is had in that relationship, don't you think then that this promotes marriages, this promotes better relationships that people actually commit into and still have the sex in a committed relationship rather than the casual sex?
Well, it depends on who you're asking. Casual sex can actually develop into meaningful relationships. Not all casual sex relationships disintegrate. Actually, this relationship business has no pattern. There is no scientific evidence to support it. There is no empirical evidence whatsoever. And you cannot blatantly not accept the fact that relationships differ. Some people prefer sex over...
Opposition, are you ready? Opposers, are you ready with your rebuttal?
Yes.
It's their rebuttal. Are you ready with your rebuttal? All right, your clock starts now.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This House still stands against the motion of practicing casual sex. Okay, we are saying casual sex promotes colorness in a form of being a scope sympathy. Okay, what we are trying to say is when you have casual sex, it's like where you have someone who you have sympathy with you. Okay, when you have like the situation when you had a fight with someone, with your wife, and you go to have pleasure with someone. Okay, then it promotes infidelity, leading to financial and mental consequences. Okay, by this we are trying to say.
Actually supporting this, guys. I'm sorry, can we ask to forfeit our rebuttal?
With 2 minutes, 37 seconds, you have asked to forfeit. I will allow it. Your clock has stopped. All right. Are you ready for your rebuttal? All right, your clock. Will begin now.
So we find two problems in opposition's case. One being the undefined relationships that they talk about, and secondly being they're saying that casual sex is subjective. It depends on the individual and not necessarily a society. We find this very problematic in today's debate because, one, how do you set a defined relationship in the context that has been set by my partner? He talks about what casual sex is in the context that it is something that is spontaneous. These are people that are meet in a bar and then just go and have sex. These are people that spontaneously find each other on Tinder and decide to just have casual sex. So in that context, with that being how your relationship is being formed, how do you then define a relationship? We think the borders of which a relationship needs to be defined then are not supported by the context that is set by my partner. Secondly, we think if we reduce this debate to being subjective to an individual, it doesn't really then support the goal that the society has. Because remember, when something becomes culture, it means it's now normative. It's the actually outstanding opinion of a society. So then how do you then rely on an individual's own perspective when we are relating to something that has become a culture, something that affects the whole society? We think it does not work in today's context. Thirdly, they talk about how it empowers women and the LGBTQI. We really don't get how, because we think empowerment comes from actually defining your boundaries and being that person that the world deems is actually of great essence and great influence, but you do not become influential when you're doing something casually. We think commitment is of key essence, right? So in today's debate, we also value the emotional and the psychological aspect that surrounds this topic. What do we mean? We think in casual sex, right, one person emotionally gets attached. We think statistics have proven that women usually get attached more than men in these one-night stand relationships. What does this do? This increases the rates of suicide. This increases a lot of depressed and anxious people in society, especially women, young women. We think it's not healthy. It's actually a short-lived reality where you're having fun for a short time, but after that you still want that person. But because your relationship is undefined, you really can't then go back to that person and want to build a family with them and want a marriage with them, because already the context in which you guys met does not allow you to then have that kind of relationship. So we think the emotional turmoils that surround this debate actually make us to regret, as Denzel tells you, that we regret at a point where we see that society is now being harmed. We see young people just having sex on their first dates and normalizing it. We think we ought to regret. We see young girls killing themselves because of boys that they met yesterday at a bar. We think this is the point where we need to regret, right? So we win this debate because we show you the dangers of the casual sex, of harmful sex, that has been portrayed in today's debate under Denzel's context, right? We also show you the emotional attachment that this has, because it's not really casual when you dig into it. We think one of the two partners actually get attached, and we think that is enough ground for regret, right? Thirdly, we tell you that this just glorifies infidelity. We think these are young people that are making it seem cool when it's actually cheating. It's infidelity. And we think at a point where, as a society, we make awareness campaigns that actually regret this notion, that actually regret this culture. We conscientize people, especially our target population, young people. We conscientize them into telling them that, no, this is happening, right? We can't stop it. I mean, we cannot govern people's sexual intercourses, right? But at least if we have awareness campaigns that conscientize them to say, no, you're doing it, but this is wrong. Can you change? We think we're also paving way for the future generations that are coming, so that they're not born into a culture that we as the current generation supported, but we're proud to regret it.
And stop. I love how emotional you got about that. Okay, right. Our opposers, do you have your closing remarks ready? All right, your clock begins now.
Okay, so this House still stands by the motion that it does not regret casual sex. We believe that we should have freedom of choice as people. We should have freedom of choice, and also that infection of STIs is not dependent on which relationship you got it from. And we also believe that it's important for communities to actually embrace all ways of life, all ways of thinking, and it's also important to be cognizant that relationships have no logical patterns. Relationships have no established development curve, and that it would be a terrible shame to actually prosecute people for having an opinion, and for people having fun in a way that they choose. And it's also advisable that we realize that we do not govern what happens behind closed doors. You can easily be irresponsible in a casual relationship, the same way you can be easily irresponsible in a formal relationship. We also believe that it is important to let society grow, to let society evolve, to let society have new norms. As we all know that norms and culture are dynamic. In fact, norms and culture are largely geographical. It depends on where you live. So you can define your own culture, define your own norm, and actually start from there. And also we believe that shaming of women for casual sex and shaming of men for casual sex is actually wrong. Even when it comes to Christianity, you're not supposed to judge. It's not your job. And also, we believe that it is important to let people live their lives as they should, and to let people discover themselves, discover their limits, discover their consequences. You learn by fire. Of course, the consequences can be terrible, but that experience is a lesson to others, a lesson to you that you should actually go through, and actually demotivating people from exploring all of that is actually retarding our society. Because as much as we will want to preach the message that casual sex is wrong, we cannot stop what goes on behind closed doors. The best way is to draw it out into the light and make sure that it's done properly, that it's done safely, that it's done with consideration. And also, embracing casual sex also redresses other problems that we have, such as substance addictions. It's also a way to actually force people into being responsible drinkers, responsible drug takers, etc. And we believe that it's of value to let people be trialed by fire. That's it from our side.
Thank you for those closing remarks. Those, of course, was our opposers, our opposing team. Affirmative, are you ready with your closing? Your clock starts now.
Things that you particularly get from proposition, right? We tell you what a culture looks like in society and how it forces people to subscribe into the culture because of peer pressure. Secondly, we tell you that what we do when we regret a particular thing, which is like casual sex. The whole thing that we get from the opposition is that we trial people by fire. We think that we do not trial people's lives by fire. People are dying from HIV out there. People are having children that they did not plan for out there. We think that we should not gamble with human lives, right? And also we tell you that we think that we ought to regret this particular thing on a whole number of reasons. Particularly, we tell you how we think that young people are a key population in order to close in new infections. We think that if we do not do this, if we do not particularly regret the rise of casual sex, we do not achieve this particular goal, right? We think that even if we think that in order to solve HIV, right, you tell people or you teach people what to do. When you tell society that we regret what you have normalized, we think that you're teaching them that what you're doing is wrong because, one, it is not sustainable, right? We also tell you how it is not even functional in terms of us establishing families and the sustainability of society. No society is built on casual sex. Yes, we think that human beings are sexual beings, right? But we think that the sexuality or sexual intercourse has to be held in a responsible way that, one, does not harm society and also promotes the sustainability of society. Thirdly, we tell you about the ripple effects that casual sex has, particularly if you get attached. Secondly, if you particularly love that person, you have no ground to renegotiate the grounds of the relationship because that particular person already has multi or several partners, right? Within that society, within that harms a person that gets attached, and also within that there's no women empowerment in terms of casual sex, right? Within that we do not value such things that comes with, say that if we say we celebrate casual sex from this other side because it empowers women, we think that it does not literally empower anyone because the relations in that particular thing, if you're going to get if you're gonna, there's no responsibility in terms of life. If you're gonna contract an HIV or if you're gonna contract an STI, we tell you how these relationships are built out of spontaneity. People just pick each other. You do not even know the background of that particular person, and you're already drunk. Within that, by the time you reach that particular place, you have no time even to wear a condom. You have no time even to negotiate for safer sex because you've picked each other at a bar. The only reason why you have each other is for you to have sex and forget about each other. Within that society, ought to value the fundamentals of a relationship in order to have sex. With this, we've never been proud to propose.
Are you ceding your time to me?
Yes.
All right, so the clock has stopped with 16 seconds to go. So the opposers tell us that it's just sex, it's fun, and you're gone. Let society grow, they say. I don't know. The affirmative say, look, it leads to increased diseases, mental health issues, and of course things such as suicide. Which side is onto something? Are they correct? Tell us what you think in the comments section. You know, of course, the motion was, this house regrets the culture of casual sex. Let us know what your thoughts are. All right, so now that we've broken the ice and we're all breathing, introduce yourselves and what you are currently studying. We'll start with you.
Hi, my name is Denzel. I'm from MSU. I'm currently studying tourism.
Denzel, why are you like this?
Sorry.
Are you protecting the
Yeah, it's coming the nerves.
And you are?
My name is Samantha, Midland State University, currently studying psychology.
All right. And lady?
I'm Idai Jeketera, Bindra University of Science Education. I'm Idai Jeketera, studying Peace and Governance.
Okay.
Part 3.
And sir?
My name is Kelvin Owe. I'm studying Financial Intelligence, Part 1.
All right. Very interesting first round. I wonder what you're thinking. Let us know. The hashtags, of course, to use in the comment section. Remember, SASI for Hope and SASI Debate 2021. Let us know your thoughts. Our theme for today is debating with hope for a better and healthier future for all. Thank you to our first round of contestants.
Welcome to the Condomized Desk, and what we do is we talk to the different participants in the debate that was ongoing. We want to find out what their position is on the different topics that they were debating on. I've got Samantha from MSU, and how are you doing, Samantha? Welcome.
Very fine, thank you.
Now, you were talking about the culture, you were debating rather, on the culture of casual sex.
Yes.
Let's talk about that. What was your position?
We thought that the whole idea that we're normalizing casual sex is bad. Because remember, casual sex is spontaneous. You just pick someone on Tinder and you decide you want to have sex. And it's becoming very normal. So we thought that it's problematic as a progressive society.
That's exactly what SAWAT is for. To actually make youth cognizant that their behavior has consequences and that they can explore and have fun and still be safe.